Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Friday, May 9th edition of Speaker Co-working, sponsored by SpeakerHub. I am Ron Story Jr. I am the head of SpeakerHub. I'm the head of whatever part of SpeakerHub you want me to be over. I'm over that part, right? Angela runs operations. She runs our full-time team of 22 people. I run the contractors and everybody else. But we make this thing happen for you guys. This is not about Nino Brown. This is bigger than Nino Brown. It's about getting you all's message out there to more people, helping you to get paid for more stages. We don't want any more poor speakers. We need your positive message to be spread and you getting paid what you're worth, whether that's directly from the event planners or from your own products and services. So this is our daily call where we answer questions from speakers from around the world, literally from around the world. We got people in here from Colombia, Venezuela, the US. Usually folks will hop in from Canada, and every country on the planet. I think if Valencia hops in, she's from Rwanda. She's in Rwanda or somewhere over in Africa right now. So but yeah, so any wins since yesterday? Sharon, what up? Good to see you. Any wins since we were last together yesterday? We do this every day. And someone asked me, why do you ask for wins every day? Why wouldn't we? People win every day. It ain't just once a month or once a week. We want to know what you're doing every day. Any new wins?
Yes,
I'll
we got
start.
another podcast.
Okay.
Okay. Go
Sorry.
ahead, Michelle and then Dora.
Yeah, we got another podcast booked, and we got 4 pre-interview calls scheduled for next month.
Incredible. Freaking incredible. Dude, y'all getting close. Michelle, y'all keep this up. Y'all may not get to it by June, but by the end of the year, I think y'all will hit your goal. Dora, you want to introduce yourself first?
Sure. I'm Dora Mendez, and I'm the founder and CEO of Culture LLC. And our mission is to drive authentic leadership through leadership coaching and HR and DEI consulting. And my win is the reason why I'm here today. I interviewed Angela for our Building Leadership Community podcast, and she was a wonderful guest. And her episode will be dropping later in June.
How cool is that? High five, Angela, spreading the good news about the work that Angela does. It's pretty cool. Any other wins that we need to talk about? I know AJ is probably building a house, so he can go come on the mic.
I have a podcast Tuesday.
Okay, cool, man.
So
that'll
be
good.
It's
a big deal.
Mhm.
Lawrence, what's up? You made it back. Good to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a fantastic journey. I have not been in my city for the last 3 days, so it's great to be back in my office. And I've been getting more emails and messages from the event organizers, from the students who were at the event, telling me how great it was, and it was a beautiful experience all around.
Hey, man, is this one of the ones that was set up by Bart for you?
No, this wasn't one of those. This was one that I originally reached out to on my own back in December and didn't get a response the first time. Then in January, I followed up and said, Merry Christmas. Hope you've been well. I'm still here if you guys are looking. And in the intro to my speech yesterday, the lady who runs the organization is called Youth Infusion. She actually mentioned how persistent I was and how you need to follow up, which is exactly what you've been saying, but just great experience.
Nah, dude, high five. Lawrence, for those who don't know, Lawrence is one of our speaker scholars. If you are a speaker, if you know a speaker that is under the age of 22, we will give them access to all of our tools at SpeakerHub for free, for them to get out there and to be a great example to other speakers on this planet or other youth or adults on this planet about what they're doing. So if you're watching this and you're a speaker or you're an aspiring speaker and you're under the age of 23, once you turn 23, you got to pay. But anything under 23, we give you 2 years to figure it out after college or as an adult. And once you get rolling, you know, you got to start paying us. But up until then, we will support what you're doing 100%. So if you're a 10-year-old speaker, you can use us for the next 13 years, right? So we just want to make sure we're helping you to get on more stages and encourage the youth to do something other than twerk on Instagram. Marisol Uribe, you want to introduce yourself? I may have screwed up your name. Marisol? Yep.
Yes, my pleasure. Marisol Uribe. I'm in Southern California, Fullerton, and I'm a healthcare professional and financial professional. And I'm looking to meet new connections, see how we could be of value. And if you're local, I definitely want to meet you.
Cool. What is it that you speak about?
So we speak about how to asset protection and wealth accumulation. And at the end, if you're of retirement age, wealth distribution.
Cool, cool,
And
cool.
there's
Sounds
different
like
tax advantage ways to do that.
sounds like annuities and life insurance and a whole bunch of stuff like that. Sounds good.
Yes,
Cool.
yes, Ron, that's right.
Cool, cool. I got some experience over there. Good to see you again, Victor. Heidi ain't been on here. I don't think Heidi's been on one of our calls. Heidi is one of our designers. She's on the design team. She is a master design strategist. You talking about getting stuff organized? Boy, I can only imagine if our design department was a closet, Heidi got all the toothbrushes and the paints aligned in the right. You know, like you go to some people's things and it goes from light green all the way to dark green, and they got them all in order. That's Heidi. Heidi does that for us. So all of the design, Maria is the head of design for SpeakerHub, but Heidi is the I don't know how you would put it. She's the person that keeps it organized. So I really appreciate what Heidi does for us. So Heidi, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself to tell people who you are. That would be cool.
Hi everyone. Yeah, like Ron said, I am the UX UI designer of SpeakerHub Pro. So yeah, I've been keeping organized all our process and always trying to improve the platform. So yeah, nice to meet you, everyone. So
Yeah, so
everything you need, I am here.
I'm going to show you all something because I don't think y'all understand what I'm talking about. She has to map out everything. UI UX is user interface, user experience. So every single button that's clicked, she had to write out what it does, right? And she has to map it. She's mapped out this whole thing. And I'm like, dude, how long did it take you to do this? You ain't been here that long. She's been with us for 3 months. I'm like, how'd you do this so quick? But I want to give Heidi some love because what she does is totally like insane in my mind. Let me see if I can pull up one of the things. All right, let me see. All right. So let me show you what I mean. So the things that you all experience at SpeakerHub, it doesn't happen by mistake. It's all coordinated. We plan, we test everything. So what you see here is every click she's gone through and she says, okay, when they sign up, they're going to click this and then they're going to get this. And then if I change something on the website, she has to redesign all of this. But this thing goes on and on and on and all the way down. She has mapped out the entire software on this map, every page, everything we ever do, like the new speaker page we're designing now. She has to do every interaction and make sure that it works. I ain't got the patience. So I just want to give Heidi some love for that because beforehand, we was all over the place. People like, what this button do? I don't know, click it. That was my answer. Click it. Click it and you'll find out what it do. Go to the webpage. So, but thanks, Heidi, for everything that you do to make our software work. So any other questions or wins? Today's Friday. So this is kind of a reflection day in a lot of ways because I've taught for the last 4 days about how do we see ourselves. So the vision of who we have for ourselves dictates the actions that we take. So if we see ourselves as someone who is passive, our behaviors will be passive. If we see someone ourselves in the lens of someone who's proactive, our behaviors will be proactive. Does that make sense? If we see ourselves as someone that needs to be chosen, we'll wait and we'll complain. And it'll always be somebody else's fault because they didn't pick me to speak, or they didn't pick me to be on their podcast, or I reached out to them and they ain't say nothing back. Yeah, you got to be like Lawrence. Reach out to him and reach out to him again and reach out to him again and reach out to him again, right? So that ability to how you see yourself is really important. Darren, what's up?
No, I just wanted to share a win.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Sunday, while I was in New Orleans, I did record a podcast for Black Men Think, the Black Men Think podcast, and I just updated it on my back office in SpeakerHub to booked.
How dope is that?
And I have another one here in Dallas area that I'll be recording on Tuesday. And I kind of searched through it through SpeakerHub. And also, Ron, want to let everyone know, man, that the trio conference that I spoke on in April, beginning of April, well, I did follow up with them while I was in Louisiana, had a meeting, and I have 2 engagements off of that for June and July.
Hey, and that's that summer camp thing?
Summer camp thing.
Hey. So actually, it's a lot of thanks to you guys, because you remember he brought it up here, and then we everybody gave our feedback on how he should approach it, right? So again, this bigger than Nino Brown. It's you all's feedback that helps him also to land that deal. There were several people who contributed saying, hey, I would say this, or I would approach it this way. So, thanks to everybody who pointed Darren in the right direction, even if it was just giving him the vote of confidence that he could nail the deal, right? It's one thing to have an opportunity. It takes a little bit more courage to come out and say, I need help to make sure I can line this up. And to have that courage to come out and say, look, I know I can do it. I just don't know how to get it. And for you all to contribute and have him, make him like, yeah, I got this. High freaking five, man. No, wait, let me line this up a bit. Darren was high school speaking 6 months ago. And he said, I got to move up to more older people and, larger professional crowds. Now he's in colleges. So he's moved up to a more professional area, right? And he's going to be doing colleges and associations as he's making that transition. It's a process, guys. This does not happen overnight. LeBron James at 7 was not in the NBA. He had to play in middle school. Then he had to go to high school. Now, he was good enough to skip college, but everybody ain't good enough to skip college. Sometimes you got to go win you an NCAA ring, go to the Final Four, and then get drafted. Sometimes you think you hot stuff like Shedeur Sanders. Thought you were supposed to be number 2 and number 3. You end up number 144. Right? But that don't matter. He got the job. He still got picked. Who's the greatest quarterback of all time? Anybody know? Who y'all think the greatest of all time? He got 7 rings.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, right? I think he was number 166.
199.
What? Oh, yeah, there you go. Whatever. 199. That proves them scouts don't know nothing. Right? Combine does not test heart. It may test heart rate, but it don't test heart. They can put you on the EKG and say you can run this fast, jump this high, but it don't what do they call it? Intestinal fortitude is what they say. You got to have some guts. And that's really what entrepreneurship is about. So any questions? Again, let me round up. High five, Darren. But let me round up what we talked about this week. How do you see yourself? When you look in the mirror, like we talked about, it has to be the reverse of Mulan. Mulan knew who she was on the inside, but the world didn't respect it. A lot of us, the world sees who we are, but we don't believe it, so we refuse to tell more people. Do you see what I mean? Like, Tranisa knows who she is. The world believes a little bit more about Tranisa than what she probably does sometimes. And it holds Tranisa back from talking to other folks about what she's doing. So, but we all are guilty, so I'm not picking on her. Let's make sure that that's not the case. But yeah, any questions that you all have, anything, we're going to do this as Ask Me Anything. today. Anything in the chat, Ange, I missed?
No, but there's a couple things I want you to recap from this week that some people didn't hear. So the first, I have a list. It's like SpeakerHub recap. SpeakerHub Live. Darren and I talked about, we were chatting last week about when we have our summit, having a meetup in Dallas. So Darren, I hadn't followed up with you because Ron announced SpeakerHub Live. So will you talk about what that is?
Yep. So SpeakerHub Live is a twice a month city visit that I will be doing starting this summer, where we will go live to different cities. It'll probably be 30, let's say 20 to 30 people that will be able to attend. If you're a lifetime member, you can definitely come. If you're already a SpeakerHub Pro member, you can definitely come for free, costs nothing. But it's basically, y'all know, like, people do these internet challenges, like, hey, 5-day challenge, do this, and you get an outcome, right? So exactly, right? So when Ange and I met years ago, when she was running this company called Nifty, she put on these things called hackathons. And we were in this co-working space in St. Louis. And a hackathon is where, or they call it startup weekend. They have all these different things. But basically, you go on a Friday and you decide that you're going to build something. And if you make it to Sunday, the one who has the best product usually wins an investment from an investment company. So it may be $25,000, it may be $100,000, right? So the St. Louis hackathon, which is one of the biggest ones, the team that won the hackathon, because it was sponsored by a company called Top Ops years ago, everybody on that team got hired by a Top Ops as the development team, because they had to build an MVP for what Top Ops was trying to do. And he said, whoever builds the best version of what we're trying to build, I'm going to hire you guys. And he hired 11 people right on the spot at the end of the hackathon. So we've heard of these in the tech world, we call them hackathons. In the internet education space, they call them challenges, right? But all we're trying to do is to get to a goal in a predetermined amount of time, right? So at SpeakerHub Live, we try to get you booked that day within 4 hours. It's going to be a lot of pitching. It's really a pitch-a-thon. You're going to come in there, you're going to send some pitches. And at the end of the day, the person who's pitched the most or got the most responses or whatever, they'll be rewarded with something. But we'll teach a little bit, but it's really about getting results for people, right? So one of my favorite books is a book called Atomic Habits, right? You all ever heard of that book before? Have you all read it or just heard of it?
I got it. I didn't read it.
Okay, so James Clear.
Yes, read it.
James Clear is the guy who started the company Atomic Habits. Or he wrote the book Atomic Habits. Now, we always talk about how you take intellectual property and turn it into something bigger, right? Well, they launched a Habits app. And that Habits app is doing millions of dollars just helping people follow through on their habits. He also introduced a bunch of other programs around that idea of habits, right? So let's go Atomic Habits. And I want to bring this up because a lot of times we have ideas and we have different things that we want to do, but we just don't stick with them long enough, right? So he's taken this and you get the bonus guides, you get a cheat sheet, you get the reading guide, but he got this thing called a habit tracker, right? But now they got an app that goes along with this thing too, right? But one of the things that he talks about he got this thing in every freaking language on earth. But one of the things that he talks about in the book is consistency. And he uses, right? You see that? Does that make sense? It's an app. But what does it say at the top? He a speaker too, so don't be acting like I'm talking about somebody who's not a speaker. He's a speaker. He has upcoming speeches, right? He's doing speeches. But he's turned that one keynote about habits into a book, into an app, into a business. If you think speaking is the end point, you are lost. Speaking should be no more than 30% of your revenue. James Clear talks about habits, and one of the habits that he describes is this. He says the way that you build a habit is setting a baseline activity, right? So let's say your baseline activity was, I got to go to the gym every day for 30 days, right? So he said, look, one day you may go to the gym and work out for an hour and a half. The next day you may go for 45 minutes. The next day you may go for 2 hours. That fourth day, you ain't gonna feel like going. He said, go and sit in a parking lot. Because the baseline activity was to go to the gym. Go sit in the parking lot or go in and just lift one weight. Just do it one time and leave. But you didn't break your streak. Habits are about consistency and streaks of a baseline activity. A lot of y'all get burnt out pitching because y'all go in and y'all pitch 200 of them in a day. And then you got all this follow-up to do that you never come back and do it. That's why we gave y'all 10, 15 a day. Just do 20 a day because it's a baseline activity. You can do 200, but just do your 10. Does that make sense? Right? So that baseline activity is really important. We want to do these SpeakerHub live events to get people the momentum of going and seeing the results, right? So then when they get back into it, they can just go back to baseline. I remember I lived in Bloomington and I went to Gold's Gym. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and go over here. I ain't in that bad of shape. This was like 2007. Still remember. I live right next to Gold's Gym. I went over there, signed the thing. Dude said, man, you want to do your intro thing today? I'm like, yeah, cool. So I paid for the membership and 6 months of personal training. Man, that dude had me vomiting in the first 15 minutes. I ain't even go back. I paid for 6 months personal training, didn't even go back. I said, man, what are you doing? He said, man, that was just a warm-up. I said, cool. I'll see you next year.
That happens so frequently in gyms and workouts and anything. It happens so frequently.
Oh, 100%. And I'm like, dude, why would you do this? If you want to have a great user experience, you know what you do? You put me on the treadmill for 5 minutes. You say, man, you must run all the time. Give me some type of mental kick in the butt. Like, yeah, man, this is great. You're doing good. I'd be like, all right, cool. I'll see you tomorrow. Like, lie to me the first day. You know, hey man, if when I was single, we went out on a date and you told me, man, you're pretty funny. Cool, you got a second date just by saying that, right? Just by saying that. That was easy. You know, Coach Dora, what's up?
So Ron, when are the live events?
So we're still working on the scheduling now, but they'll be twice a month. We got to put together a whole tour. So we'll have like 12 or 15 cities, and then we'll do 2 every month in different cities. So we'll go Houston, Dallas, Oklahoma City, St. Louis, Chicago, Indy, Atlanta, Fort Lauderdale, North Carolina, like that. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And will they be hybrid events? Will you be streaming them live so that folks
we have no idea
cities get a chance? Okay.
I have no idea. What do you call a deer with no eyes? I have no idea. Right? So I don't know.
Well, thanks for sharing that. It sounds like a great. It sounds like a
where are you located, Coach Dora?
I'm in New York.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll come up to New York. We'll figure it out, right?
And then Toronto, Jasmine.
Oh yeah, we got to go to Toronto too. We got to figure out the whole map so that I can just, because I live in South America, so it's a long flight for me. So some of these things we're gonna have to like do multiple cities in the same weekend because I ain't gonna be flying from Columbia to New York, then back to Toronto. We're gonna do some of these on the same weekend. But we got a game plan. It's called SpeakerHub Live. Don't try to buy the domain. I already own it. We already planned for this. So, but that's what's coming. And that's the gist of it. We want to build the habit of people proactively pitching instead of right now, we've been very good at proactively waiting, right? Most speakers are professional waiters. They're waiting to be chosen. And we're trying to change that behavior. Ange, what else is on your agenda?
Oh, yes. The other thing is when you talk about the SpeakerHub Podcast Network, that's something you mentioned earlier this week or last week.
Yep. So also we're launching the SpeakerHub Podcast Network, where basically if you have a podcast that you want to get distributed on our email list right now, we have 86,000 people after we kicked off a bunch of the folks that gave us fake email addresses. So we got 86,000 people on the email list. 64,000 of them are speakers. The other ones are organizers. We have the two largest speaker groups on LinkedIn, with I think about 65,000 people in those groups. One has 57,000, the other one has 7,000. So we have those groups where we will promote your podcast like it's ours, right? And what we mean is, if you're in the SpeakerHub network, all you got to do is say, hey, this podcast, today's show, the F42 show, is sponsored by SpeakerHub. SpeakerHub is the all-in-one place for speakers that want to get paid for their knowledge. Go to www.speakerhub.com/F42, to get your trial or whatever. That's all you got to do is read an ad, right? We'll pay for the hosting, and we will send out your podcast to our list. Does that make sense? Again, we can't tell people that we want to get more positive messages out there if we're not willing to distribute positive messages. Does that make sense? So we'll pay for it. All you got to do is read the ad. We're not going to pay for the editing. We're not going to pay for all of that. That's on y'all, because y'all be having fancy stuff that we can't afford. But we can pay for the hosting. Right, we can make sure that it's hosted properly and that will get you some traffic. Most sponsors are looking for your traffic. You see what I mean? Most sponsors are looking for your traffic to your to the podcast. We're looking for your content, and we'll give you the traffic. Make sense?
Can we market SpeakerHub viewership on it? Expose, because a lot of them are saying we're 1 million people, and the ones that invite you on their podcast.
Oh yeah. We'll walk you through some guidelines. We got to keep it ethical, so we'll walk you through some guidelines. We don't want you over promising and overselling, but the same way that we show our work at SpeakerHub, we show how many people are pitching or how many people are interacting with the things that we're doing. We will make that transparent for you guys to be able to talk about that too. So SpeakerHub doesn't have to be the only sponsor of your podcast. If you can afford to get other sponsors to come in and sponsor the show, we just want to be the title sponsor. Does that make sense? So your show should already have 2 sponsors. Who's the first one?
Yourself,
you, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Your business should be the first one, right? And the second one is SpeakerHub. Now, whoever you put in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th spot, I don't care. Right?
Ron, we have
number one. Go ahead.
We have a question about SpeakerHub Live. Ron asked, can we speak there or just attend as a member to pitch? So can lifetime members come to SpeakerHub Live and actually present?
So yes and no. We got to figure it out, because we're working on what we call a VIP day also. So there will be a regular day for new people where we're just teaching and introducing SpeakerHub. But then there's a VIP day that we're trying to work on something for that. I got all this stuff outlined. I just don't know. Here's the issue. We have close to 200 lifetime members currently, and we're going to be at that event all day if we let all y'all speak. So we got to figure out a way to weave it in some way. But a 5-minute presentation, something like that, may not be a bad deal. We may figure it out 5 to 10 minutes, but we can't give like 45 minutes.
Yeah. And that's what I meant. Is like sessions, like short sessions, like 8 minutes each. Yeah. Okay, great. Yep. Thank you.
It's something we're open to. Again, we want you all speaking, but this tour stop is really to, number one, meet a lot of you all, right? We're definitely going to DC because Ron said she's making dinner. So,
oh my God, follow her on Instagram.
Yes.
Say, Ron, you
Yes.
have your food. Look,
you know,
I'll help clean up. Say, Ron,
No,
if you cook.
and I own my word. The dinner is
Yeah.
at my house, and you're gonna love it, and you're gonna come back to my area just because of the food.
That's it. Yeah, I sent her a message on Instagram the other day. I'm like, "Yo, who cooking this?" She's like, "Oh, this is my sister-in-law house or something like that." I'm like, "All right, invite her to Speaker Hub Live so we can make sure she make whatever was on that table, right?"
What's
But
Saran's background? She sounds so much like my Egyptian friend.
I am Middle Eastern, yeah, Kurdish from Iraq, but I speak Arabic
My best
fluent.
friend.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
time you speak, I jump up because you sound so much like Manal.
no, that's cool, man. So yeah, no, I can't wait to meet a lot of you all in person. Those who I haven't met before. It's crazy because we haven't even met our entire team. We have employees across, and if we include the contractors, across 9 countries, and I haven't met all of them. But hopefully we'll get that arranged on our side too.
Yep.
Any other questions, Ange, outside of,
Yes.
so we covered the podcast, we covered Speaker Hub Live.
Let's talk the Pro Speaker Summit coming up June 6th through the 8th. Will you give everyone a synopsis on what that's about?
Yep, Pro Speaker Summit, historically and futuristically, will always be our regular conference that we do. Our last one was in October. For the spring, we decided to line it up with our anniversary. So this will be our spring conference. This year, it is focused on product. Last year, we focused on proactivity. That's when we introduced our new tool, SpeakerHub Pro, which allows you to pitch proactively and get yourself booked. This one, we're sticking with the pro theme, but instead of proactive, we're going with product. We want our speakers introducing products and services to the world because that's where the difference is made. If you want to be like the best speakers in the world, like James Clear, Stephen Covey, we can keep going, Simon Sinek, Les Brown, they have products and services. They're just not speakers. Del Toro, all of those guys, they got Willie Jolly, they got courses and other products and services that they're selling, right? So we got to practice what we preach. If we're telling you all should have products and services, I shouldn't be sending you over to Udemy. So we're introducing our product platform where you can sell your own courses, you can sell your own books and everything else. Does that make sense? So the Pro Speaker Summit, which is focused on product, is where I am right now. We have, I think, 11 or 12 interviews scheduled, but I think we're going to push that up to 15. I got 3 other people I want to interview. I've already interviewed 5 so far of people who've made at least $100,000 a year from a product or service. Why didn't I go get the person who's made $1 million? Those people be out untouchable in your mind, right? A lot of us ain't made our first 100,000 on our own. We've made it through a job. And if we add our side hustle to our job, we may have crossed 100,000 in a year. But a lot of us haven't taken one product to $100,000 on its own. So I wanted to bring relatable entrepreneurs on, even though some of them have sold millions. We wanted it like, hey, look, let's bring some relatable folks that can come and talk about how they went from, I didn't have anything, but I use speaking as a way to build these things. Does that make sense? One of the interviews I did with my brother-in-law yesterday, he talks about how he has a barbecue sauce, potato chips, and seasonings that is in 500 grocery stores across the country. Now, he's been to prison a couple times. He tells that story, but he's changed his life 100%. And he uses speaking as a way to sell the chips and all the other stuff. So every time he goes and does a speaking, he got a whole booth that he set up with chips and sauce in the back. Why? Because on the stage, what he talk about? Hey, this is how I started this, and you can do it too. So people like, man, where can I get your sauce? Right over there. Right? He got a box of it right over there, right? So he talks about how he did that and how He's used speaking and his notoriety and his popularity in the St. Louis area to get different grants to open up halfway houses and other things to give back to the community that he felt didn't treat him properly. Right? So the reason why I wanted to bring him on is because speaking is the beginning. We got to quit thinking that that's the end. It is just your entry point. You got bigger dreams than speaking. I know you do. Y'all tell me privately that y'all do. Because you know what I ask you, what's the big dream? Well, I really want to be doing this. Well, let's do that. Does this make sense? Like for most people, speaking is the bus stop. It's not the bus station. So I wanted to bring on folks that have shown that, nah, this is just a vehicle that's going to help me to do these other things. I mean, this knucklehead was a bull rider and everything. I'm like, boy, you're going to die. He's 52 years old riding the back of a bull. And we show him getting thrown off. He in the air like this. I'm like, boy, your leg's going to be broke. But he said, guess what? 12,000 people got to see my logo. I said, yeah, okay, Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey or whatever, you out here. What was the Evil Knievel for over some trying to promote some barbecue sauce? But it's a great interview we did. We did one with John because John has built a really good coaching business around mind mapping. But that's what we're doing. We want to bring speakers in to show you all how they got their product up to at least $100,000. Now, that number means a lot to me because I think most people in SpeakerHub can quit their job. Not everybody. If you're a high paid person, cool. But most folks can, if they got a job they don't like, they can figure out how to make $100,000. They can quit that job. Right? We asked the question a few months ago, how many of y'all would feel good if you had an extra $2,000 a month? And everybody on the call raised their hand. So I know an extra $8,000 is life-changing for most people. So let's go there instead of, I want the Lamborghini. Get that afterwards. I've never been able to count to 1 million and skip over 100,000. It's just a roadblock. It's just a checkpoint. Does that make sense? So that's what this is about. I interviewed a young guy named Salvatore. Man, killer. Like Salvatore, how he's built his coaching business and the people that he's coached. He's like, dude, I don't offer a course. I don't have a funnel. I'm a coach and I got a waiting list. And I said, that's it. That's all I needed to hear. Because everybody think we got to build these crazy funnels. He's like, no, I go on podcast. I add people to my waiting list. And when one person falls out, we bring in another one. I can work with 10 people at a time. And he walks through how he calculates that and how he goes, because that's what y'all want to do. But let me give you a great example. Let me pause here for a second.
Do you want me to pause? Was that a cue to pause? You're going to pause from the Salvatore story.
Pause from what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Years ago, most of y'all know I was a financial advisor, and I used to teach continuing education classes for investment professionals because they have to take so many hours. So I used to go and teach those classes with my licenses. And I was talking to a young lady and I said, tell me about like what's your goals or your dreams, right? And we opened it up to the whole class. And I said, what's your dream car? And people say, BMW. Another person say, Mercedes. Another person say, Audi, right? And I asked the one young lady, I said, well, what's your dream car? And she says, Mercedes. And I kind of knew she wasn't really into it. You know how you know somebody just saying something to fill in the thing because she don't want to feel left out? So I said, okay, well, which model? She was like, the car one. And I'm like, okay, she really didn't care about this. But I didn't really push her on it. So afterwards, I just kind of moved on like I do sometimes on here. Someone will run into a roadblock. I kind of change the subject on them so that they don't get embarrassed. So I did that and I just went on to it. And afterwards, she says, I don't have a dream car. She's like, I don't even got a license. And I said, well, why do you say that? She said, because everybody else said a car. So I just said what I thought everybody would clap for. That's how most of us set our goals. We just say stuff because we heard somebody else say it. We just say we want this house because we saw somebody else in it. We just say we want that car because we saw somebody else in it. We really don't want it. But we don't want to feel embarrassed by not wanting this outrageous BS. So we just say something also. And then we privately struggle because this person is giving us a plan to get somewhere we don't even want to go. Am I wrong? I've had people put their goals on my back. I'm like, dude, I don't want this. Man, you should do this. That ain't what I want to do. Well, man, I'm just telling you, what you got to just tell me now. Why don't you ask me? Ask me where I want to go, and I'll tell you where I want to go. You can help me to get there. It may not line up with what you see in me, but this is where I want to go. It's my life. So that $100,000 number was like the lowest I could go and know that the person had some skills, because it takes a certain amount of effort to get to 100 grand. You don't get there by mistake, just like everybody don't get $100,000 job. Does that make sense? It takes some skill and effort to get a 100 grand job, the same way that it takes some skill and effort to drive a business to 100 grand or a product to 100 grand. Jasmine, what's up?
Just, on there, and I'll come back to this right now, just to say, I've driven a lot of nice cars because other people, I associate it with status. So, you're working for this person, so you got to drive this car, and you got to drive that car. And then the best car I've had in the last little while is a Grand Cherokee. And I would have preferred this over all the other cars, nice cars. I've done the Beamer, I've done the Lex, I've done all that. And this, I'm saying, oh my God, I've got into this car and it's nice. But I also want to say that, like I've not made $100,000 in this new profession that I have, but it's in the past. So what I want to tell someone, if they've been in the past and they're making it a muscle memory, like when you exercise, right? It's a muscle memory. Or if you're driving somewhere and you're not paying attention, but you get there because your mind is there. So even though you have made tons more than 100,000 in the past, you can make it again here. So you just have to be patient with the process that we're going through, because you've already done it.
Yep,
so you can duplicate that over and over again by doing the right steps and learning what it takes to do this.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about yesterday was modeling. So the goal or the homework yesterday was go and find five people that are somewhere a little bit ahead of you, right? Because we can just model what they've done. Like, I don't need to talk to Dave Ramsey about the gist of what he's done. I may need to get, if I need some details, but the gist of what he's done, show up every day, go on that podcast every single day and take live calls and actually help people. And then if they want more help than what they get on that call, say, you can buy my Financial Peace University. You can sign up for SpeakerHub. You can sign up for Speaker Launch Formula. You can sign up for SpeakerHub Pro. Help them, show you can help, and then offer your product and service, right? So sometimes we know the right things to do, but we're afraid, so we look for, well, I got to figure out this part. No, you don't. Just get to going. I wish a vet would have been on here. A vet has been working on a project with us about, we're working to try to help people to start podcast booking or speaker booking agencies. And we gave a vet our system that Ange worked on over the last few years that she built her business with. And I met with the vet yesterday, and the vet said, I'm going to tell you one thing that's surprising. It works exactly like you said it would. Yeah, because I've done it. Like, so what we're trying to give you all are train tracks to run on. Does that make sense? So I don't have all the answers, but if I can bring a speaker on that's a coach and he can just give you the train tracks and it gives you confidence, you should be able to do it. If you got a physical product like a barbecue sauce or something like that, you should be able to launch that, right? If you got a digital product, I got some folks like John Diggs who talked about how his digital product and his digital framework, right? Like, those things are super duper duper important. Melanie
Brian,
is a killer. Go ahead.
We have a question in the chat.
Yeah, go ahead.
It speaks to when you were talking about how do you go from like who you are now to the person to seeing yourself differently. Someone asked, how do you make the two versions of the self the same?
Yep, I'll tell you. Who asked that? I can't see.
Vanessa. Vanessa.
Me,
Vanessa.
Trinisa.
Cool.
Trinisa.
Watch this.
Sorry, Trinisa.
What's the difference right now in those two people?
Maybe belief.
Okay. In what way? Give me an example. Describe the first person and describe the second person, if you can.
Okay, the first person has the ambition of where they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other person is there, and you're describing where you want to see yourself at that stage.
Got you. I got you.
Yeah,
that's
what
you
I
ready?
think.
You ready? You ready for this?
I am.
Okay. Is the person that you want to be doing the cool things that you want to do right now?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably.
Yes. Are you telling people about it?
I am.
Okay. About the results.
Yes, I'm focusing more on that now. Yes.
No, are you telling people about the results? Or are you still getting the results?
It's more of a hypothetical than actual.
That's the issue.
Okay.
That's the issue. So
yes.
Here's how you do it. I'm gonna show you. Watch this.
Okay.
Y'all watch me do it every day. Here it is. Right? Go back and watch the October 28th version of this call.
How do I find that?
Oh, it's on YouTube. We got a link. Go to speakercoworking.com and just go back and just look at the October 28th, the 29th, the 30th. They're in order. It's the first call.
Okay.
And I'm bumping and bumbling through the whole call.
Okay.
Right? And then go watch like one that's 20 of them in. I'm a little bit better than that. Right?
October
and then compare that to
30th.
what we're dealing with now. Right? Now, here's the thing. The person in the future has done all the cool stuff that you still haven't done yet. So go do those things. And they line up. The issue is that you're telling people that you're hypothetically already that person, but you're not yet. So just be honest.
Right.
Yo, I ain't got it together right now, but here's where I am. And if you are further behind on the street, not further behind in life, but I'm further down the street. If you're behind coming down this same street, I can help you to get to where I'm at.
Okay.
The problem is that people are here and they're telling people back here they can get them here.
Okay.
You see what I mean? And then you feel
Yes.
bad because you don't even know how to get there yet.
Right.
So just help people to get to where you are. So results is the origin of confidence. When Jadika did a massage on somebody and the pain went away the first time, holy crap, this works. When Victor talked about somebody with their brand and they was like, man, this makes sense now. Confidence through the roof. Right? The first time a student came up to Darren after a speech and said, man, Mr. Franklin, that was good. He ain't never been the same. The issue is that we keep doing the same feats and then it gets boring. So you got to do a bigger feat. You got to do cooler stuff. Do you see what I mean? So you start working with bigger clients, trying to solve bigger problems, working on bigger things, bigger demonstrations.
Yes. Okay.
Does that make sense? So then when someone says, well, what do you do? Well, I run SpeakerHub. Oh, well, cool. That's the directory. Nope. We added SpeakerHub Pro. Oh man, y'all did that? Cool. Now we got a daily show. We tried a daily show 3 times a day. It didn't work. Don't do that. So we went to 1 hour a day. Then we went to the SpeakerHub Live. And then we did the podcast network. All of these may not work, but we got to try it. Do you see what I mean? So you didn't hear me say SpeakerHub is building the biggest podcast network on earth. No, we ain't there. It's going to be terrible at the beginning. I'm setting the standard right now. It's going to be terrible.
Because everything is.
That first day is the worst as it'll ever be.
Okay.
And I ain't gotta, be doubtful of that. Because Kevin has been here since 2021, and Kevin remembers the software in 2021. and he's watched me just add stuff to it over the last 4 to 5 years. Jadika's been here since July. It ain't the same that when she came in July. We've added more and more to it, right? But we don't announce the additions. We release something every week. We don't put it out there. Every week we fix something in the software or add a new feature.
Okay.
But does that make sense? So that separation,
yes,
is because you've been talking as if you were this person, but your confidence comes from being who you really are right now.
I am.
Because they can't question. You can't call me a liar right now when I talk about SpeakerHub. When I say we did 4,432 speaking gigs up until May 1st, argue with your mama. I got the data that says that that's true. Right?
Yeah.
Now, people ask me, Ron, you kind of rough around the edges. Why? Because I don't want y'all to see me in person and be like, man, he curse every once in a while. Yeah. If you ever come to one of the calls, you know I do.
Yeah.
Man, he really loves his family. He lets his kids come in. Yep. They're going to interrupt us when you live with me too.
Right.
Because I ain't going to apologize for who we are.
That's true.
Does that make sense? So that's what we all missing. We're missing this authenticity, this confidence. Dude, I'm going to tell you that when I realized I didn't have to be somebody else. When I heard Tony Robbins start cussing in the middle of a speech in the arena, I said, I can do this.
Right?
So I ain't even got to, when I slip up, all I got to worry about is Raymar going to edit it out before she put it on YouTube. But the people that was here, they got all the flavor on it. They got the Tony Cheshery's version. Y'all know that little, y'all know Tony Cheshery's. Did I say it right? How you say it? Darren, that's
Tony Cheshery's, man.
Cheshery?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. My bad. the green bottle, the seasoning for the gumbo, right? So we got to be authentically ourselves, guys, because that's why people like us. One of the analogies that we use, give me another question in 1 second, Edge. One of the analogies we used is, and we'll ask it again. Oh, ET, yeah, right. But let me give you an analogy. If we had 100, if I put 100 diamonds, 100 1-carat gems, not all diamonds, 100 1-carat gems on the table, right? I put them on a little black velvet cloth, and I gave you one of those spectacle things. And I said, if you find the diamond out of these 100, you got 10 minutes. Do you think you can find it? If you can find it, just raise your hand. You don't have to say how you can find it. But if you think you can find it, right? You think in 10 minutes you can find it? Trinisa?
Yes.
Okay. How would you find the one diamond out of the 99? Now, the other ones are cubic zirconias. They look exactly like a diamond. Let me show you. So there's moissanite.
You're right.
Cubic zirconia. Hold on. Zirconia, moissanite, and diamond. Let me show you. Those are the 3 gems. It's going to be 99 of these. Only one of them is a diamond. Right?
They all have different
right
cuts,
there.
though.
Huh?
They have different cuts.
No, same
cut.
cut.
Of course, you would have to be like an expert in this, to know what you're looking for.
Okay, all right. But you just said you could do it. Can you do it? You change your mind? She changing her mind, guys.
No, I didn't. I didn't change my mind. I'm saying, because of course, if it's a challenge, I ain't never backing down from a challenge.
But do you think you can successfully find the diamond? With confidence?
I won't know if I won't try.
Okay. What's your level of certainty?
80.
80%.
Yes.
Okay. And what's your method? How would you find the difference?
Of course, I have that glass, right? Because you got to have something to be beeping.
You got the glass. You got the glass.
Yeah, and it's a thing that beats the.
No, you can't use that. You got to be able to look at it and see. You got to use the eye tester thing.
Oh, the eye tester.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. It's okay. I'm gonna show you why. Right.
All right.
Anybody else think they can do it? A lot of y'all heard this analogy before.
I thought I would have the beeper.
Anybody? Kevin, you think you can find it? No? Willie, you think you can find it?
Before
Janika,
you made them cubic zirconians, I could have, but now, they getting real good at making those.
Yeah, they
you
are.
know, Janika, you think you can find it?
Should I
Find
tell
it.
the
Yeah, go ahead.
answer?
Go ahead and tell it. Tell it what it is.
If I remember correctly, the diamonds have some rough lines in it or something that's different from all the others, and that's what
Yep.
makes it. That's how you know a diamond from the others.
Yep.
Okay.
It's called flaws. So you
Okay.
hear people say it's a flawless diamond or almost flawless, right?
Okay.
So moissanite and zirconias, they're perfect glass, right? But
Oh, wow.
diamonds have inclusions and flaws, and they have an inclusion scale and a flaw scale, like the VVS scale and all of this. So, right, they got all these charts. That's like the inclusion chart, like how much is in there. So you can see if it don't have a lot of stuff, it's over here, right? You see, and the
Yeah.
more inclusions it has or flaws, the less valuable it is, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Does that make sense? So,
That
but
makes
that's how you
sense.
learn about diamonds and how what the clarity is of the diamond. Now, most people will be like, man, these things all look alike because we didn't tell you the secret. So you don't have to be a professional if you know the secret. You see what I mean? If you know what the thing is, in order to win, you don't really need, you just need to know the thing. We want to give y'all the things. Like, hey, do you got 8 years to try to figure out how to make money as a speaker? No. So I'm just going to show you how to make money as a speaker. You got 15 years to try to get to 100 grand? No. So I'm just going to show you the things that we've used and you can just copy them. Now, whether you get there or not, that's not on us, but we can just show you that, hey, maybe you can get some momentum in the right direction. Does this make sense? So, any other things? We're right at 12 o'clock, which is our when we go into overtime. I don't have another meeting for this afternoon, so I can stay here as long as y'all want to stay, but we're not going to do that. But we're going to stay a little longer.
Yes, we do have something else. We have something else. Jadika asked, are there any ideas on creating a virtual health consultation business? She says, I'm trying to find who is the leading or top virtual consultant business person. I'm trying to find who is the person I should be modeling. So what advice do you have for the assignment yesterday? How do you know who to model?
Okay. Jadika, share your screen. And just a browser window.
Excuse me, before I go, what did you say the YouTube was again?
You can go to speakercoworking.com.
Okay.
Let me show you. Look, it's going to look like this. So when you go to Speaker Coworking, that's our site.
Right.
And if you ever forget it, it's always at the top of the SpeakerHub page up here. You see that?
Oh, no, I see you.
Oh, my bad. My screen share stopped. So you see up here?
Oh,
if
yes,
you ever forget
yes.
it, it's there. But this
Okay.
is what the actual co-working site looks like. Scroll down and we got all the videos there.
Okay.
So this is the
Okay.
one from yesterday. We got 148 of them. Just go to
Cool.
the first one.
Okay, the October 28th. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
like, no, yeah, the October 29th, that first one,
29th. Okay.
right? I mean, we didn't even have no furniture in this office, right? That's how old it was, a long time
Okay.
ago, right?
Okay.
You see that? We gotta
Yeah.
get started before we're ready,
Right. Right.
right?
Love it.
So,
Love it.
all
Thank
right.
you.
Yep, no problem. So,
See you later. Have a good
Janika,
weekend.
see you later. Have a great weekend. Janika, share your screen. Let's do this. This is cool. Everybody, y'all can copy this. This is it. Right? Now open up your chat GPT. We can't hear you, Janika, if you're unmuted, but yeah, just chat GPT, just a regular one. Perfect. All right. So what we're going to do, guys, I'm going to stop the share so she can put her passwords in private. What we're going to do is this is the easiest thing to do, right? Anybody out there smarter than ChatGPT got more data than them? Nah. So ChatGPT know every industry. They know everything. They've done took everything off everybody's webpage, right? So you can put what you do into ChatGPT and then ask it for your top 5 industry leaders or top 100 industry leaders. And in that list of 100, you'll find the 5 that are there, but that the bottom is probably where you could probably compete with them. Do you see what I mean? So I may not be able to beat Dave Ramsey, but I can compete with some of these other speaker coaches. Like the speaker coaches that were my clients, we're peers, right? So I can model what they're doing if they're doing better in one area than me. Does that make sense? So I'll show you. Let me know when you're ready, Jadika. Were you able to get in? Well, let me show you. I'll do it this way. Want me to do it for you? Are you good?
It's it's dealing with login issues. That's what's happening
Okay.
right
Well,
now.
here, let me just show you what to do, and then I'll send you the
Okay.
link. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So you come over to ChatGPT. Boom. Right. So watch this. Who is Ron Story Jr.? Right. So it knows who I am. Make sense? Okay. Give me a list of 20 competitors right? So because it knows my business, it gave me our competitors from a business perspective. But then it also gave me the personalities. Y'all hear me talk about Pete and Grant Baldwin and different people. Y'all have heard me mention them before that they have their own programs because a lot of their clients come to us, right? And then on the podcast booking side, Guestio, Pod Match, Interview Valet, Podcast Guest. On the outreach side, like they give you all of your competitors, right? Who are some personalities and personal brands that are similar to Ron or that target the same audiences? I am not surprised by this list at all, right? Not surprised by this list. Some of these people, you've seen me go to their site and reference their things. Makes sense. So one of the things that I gave Saran was a training that I got from Mel Abraham, right? I think what he talks about is bananas, right? Really good. Lisa Nichols, you hear me talk about her going on 2,000 podcasts all the time. Brenda Burchard came out with this new AI thing we're going to be building, right? Called Brendan AI. We're going to be doing our own where our SpeakerHub customers will be able to go in and ask any questions about getting booked for speaking gigs. And it'll be the SpeakerHub version of an AI tool, right? Dan Martell, really great coach, right? You know, I've talked with Dan before about some different things. Les Brown, you all know, I know Les. Jeremy, I know him indirectly. I used to work with this dude's business manager at one point, Grant Baldwin. I know several people from his team. Pete Vargas, we've had several conversations in the past. So I'm not surprised that this is who they say are in my market. Yeah, because I know they in my market. Right? Does this make sense, Janika? You're muted. We can't hear you.
Yes, it does.
Right? So now let's take someone like Dan Martell. Dan Martell is a killer. Right? But he's not a bragger. He's not out here bragging about all the stuff. He just works really hard and helps. He used to help people start software companies, right? Because he was a founder. This is one of my favorite books here, right? But he helps you if you want to start, you know, a software company. He helps you to grow it. So he has a book about that, or a training program called, shoot, I can't think of the name of it. The training program is called SaaS Academy, right? He has SaaS Academy, and then he now has a venture capital fund, right? So, but these are, you find your folks, you say, okay, this is what they're doing. What parts do I like? What parts can I do? A lot of the things I learned on frameworks came from Mel Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the best people that can teach frameworks. He has a system called Thoughtpreneur Academy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? Mel Abraham. Really good stuff. Is this making sense? So I'm not teaching you all something I haven't done. I look at all these dudes. I buy all their stuff. I don't even agree with half of the stuff they talk about, but I watch. I'm on all their mailing list. I want to see what you send it. Yeah, we'll argue in private, but I'm going to take the good. What your mama used to say, eat the meat, spit out the bones. That's it. I'm going to take the stuff I like and the stuff I don't agree with. I'm going to build my own. I'm going to defend why I don't agree with it publicly. And here's the one thing. You can't disagree with somebody and not have your own thing to stand on.
Right.
Because if that's the case, it's just emotional. Let me give you an example. You ever been with somebody and they say, man, I don't like them. And you're like, why? I just don't like them. Yeah, shut up. You know, you're just emotional. You're jealous. You're just a hater at that point. Right? You got to tell me why you don't like them. It can't just be, I don't like them. Right? Well, I don't like the way they teach this. Cool. Well, what do you teach? Well, I don't teach nothing. Well, shut up. Go teach something. Teach the other part. If you think that what they're doing is so bad, go teach the good. Right? I'll give you a great example, Marisol. One that you'll like. There's a guy, Ken Fisher. He teaches, I hate annuities. That's his whole marketing thing. I hate annuities. He puts that out there everywhere. Why? Because he sells investment managements. On the other side, the annuity people say, don't put your money in the stock market. Well, what's your alternative? If they said, I don't know, they're idiots. They got to tell you they better have an annuity for you or life insurance or a whole life or something on the other side. But you can't tell people that you don't like something and not give them an alternative. Is that fair? So the people that you are looking at on your list, when your list is produced, you don't have to agree with them. And it's okay, because they don't care. Because guess what? They don't agree with you either. And you shouldn't care. But y'all can both win. What's the difference between Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey? Nothing. Susie talks about budgeting. Dave focuses on debt. But you can follow either one of them and still be better off financially than without them. Does that make sense? Dave Ramsey say, don't ever get any type of debt. Cool, man. High five. Susie Orman say, get debt, but just pay it off. Right? Like, just budget. You can win in both worlds. And then there's Tiffany Aliche. I can't leave her out. The budgetnista. Tiffany, let me wait. Let's do a case study on freaking Tiffany Aliche. Do y'all know who this is?
No, haven't heard of her.
This lady is a killer. A killer. This preschool teacher right here does $15 million a year on a $15 a month membership. She got a $15 a month membership, a $30 membership, and like you can pay like something, it's like $100 for the year. They do $15 million a year or so. In 2020, it was over 11 million. They actually sent out in an email, because again, they're like us, they kind of show their work. They were like, look, we can teach you all this stuff. Here's our business. So they sent out a copy of their Stripe report in an email one time. But I remember when she had the Live Richer Academy back in like 2016, and it was a Facebook group, right? It was just a Facebook group. And she would message anybody. Hey, you enjoying my budgeting group? And she had no fear. This is when they wouldn't kick you off of Facebook for messaging people. And she just messaged everybody. You want to join my group? You want to join my group? You want to join my group? How big do you think her group is, Kevin?
If she's making that kind of money, it has to be at least 500,000.
Right?
I would guess.
Let's see. Live Richer Academy. Did they change the name of the group, Ange? It was Dream Chasers, right?
Dream Catchers. And the Live Rich. Yeah, Dream Catchers. 2 words.
I'm not sure. Let me see. All right, the budget needs to. Let me go to her page, and I know she got the group over here on the left.
It's Dream Catchers.
What's it called?
It's Dream Catchers.
Is it 1 word, 2 words? What?
2 words. Here. Let me try.
She's pulling in how much a year?
I just put the group in the
chat. It's doing like 15 million.
It's Dream Catchers Live with Tiffany Aliche. It's in the chat, Ron.
All right, I'm clicking it right now. All right. Now, here's the thing. They go and they kick people out this group. Right. So it used to just be anybody can join. Now it's just women. They only let women in here now. They don't let men in no more. Right. But she did it one Facebook invite at a time. And all she did was teach people how to budget. And she says, look, you can join my group for free, or if you want to get one of my workbooks or join our paid thing, it's $15 a month. Why? Because everybody can afford $15 a month. Everybody can afford or don't have enough assets to afford for a financial advisor to help them with budgeting. Does that make sense?
I gotta get my wife in that group,
right?
So she stops spending my money.
Yeah, right. So you can see all the people, and these are women. You know, I used to be in this group. They kicked me out, right? But it's really focused on women. It's a private group, and or at least it used to be focused on women. I'm not going to join it again. They kicked me out once. They want me there. But you can build the movement, guys, one little bit at a time, but it's hard work, right? Now, let me, just so that nobody underestimates, thinking they about to build a 500,000 people group tomorrow. How long this group been created, Jadika?
12 years?
12 years ago.
Yeah, she been working. Right? 73 people joined last week. Right? 12 years ago. It's the work.
Oh, and I was close. She's right around 500,000.
Yeah. But that's it. The key is the time. This is what we got to focus on. Don't worry. Do it for 12 years. Right? This guy, what's the company? Panda Express. Right? This guy does $4 billion a year with a 30% profit or something like that. He owns all the stores. And they asked him, how do you stay in business? How did you build Panda Express? He said, I spent the last 40 years making orange chicken. It's just do the same thing and just figure out a better way to deliver it and raise the price and make it better and add more value. It didn't get there overnight, is the point. Got it? Any other questions? Was this helpful?
Thank you, Ron. That's very helpful. And I just wanted to share that one of the things that has really touched me about your presentation this week in terms of modeling, and my translation came up with it's about conviction. It's about what you stand for. And I think that that's a big missing piece in every area of our lives in terms of what we do and how we represent ourselves in the public. What are we standing for? And that's what I've gotten, from your presentation this week. And it's a solid foundation in everything that we're striving to do, being able to represent what we stand for.
Oh, 100%. Let me tell you why. Because AI already got all the same information you got. But I don't want to talk to the computer all day. Right? The computer is an assistant to me. It is not my coach, not my teacher. It is there to assist me. It don't understand me. It don't get what I'm going through. Right? It can assist me, but it can't replace me. You see what I mean? And I think with now the ability for people to go and get information, they're still going to want the connection from somebody that's actually lived it. Because now we can filter through the BS. I can talk to somebody for 5 minutes and know how they answer the question if they're being honest with me. I have mastered the follow-up question. I know what I asked. I know that ain't what you answered, so I'm going to ask you again. I've mastered it. I'm like, dude, I know you are diverting this question, but it's okay. I'm going to make you feel okay answering it. And as soon as you answer it with something that you may feel embarrassed about, I'm going to give you a hug and say, you know what? You ain't really doing that bad. Why? I met with over 600 speakers in the last 2 months, and they all hop on. Well, I always ask them, oh, so how many gigs did you do last year? Well, because of COVID, because the answer to what I asked you was a number. It had nothing to do with COVID. Well, COVID, things slowed down, and I'm like, yep, okay. So I know who I'm dealing with. They're a bit ashamed of their inactivity. Let me reach them where they are. Cool, that's no problem. It affected everybody. But how many gigs did you do last year? Well, I only did 7. Oh, great. Did you know 50% of speakers don't do more than 5? So you're above average, actually. Did you know that? No. So then I bring up my stats and I show them. Did you know 50% of speakers didn't do 5 gigs last year? No, I had no idea. Yeah, so stop beating yourself up because you're comparing yourself to other people's highlight reels. They showed you the 1 gig from 5 different angles for the last 6 months. They ain't doing a bunch of gigs. Do you see what I mean? So we that authenticity allows you to know the truth and then reach your customer in a way that they've never been reached before. Does that make sense, Janika? So that's the origin behind it. Because
yes,
there's going to be the avatars, there's going to be the AI, there's going to be the fake gurus. Can't nobody argue with the number of pitches that were sent through SpeakerHub. Can't nobody argue with the number of things. This is self-reported, unless y'all lying. Only way our numbers are false is if y'all lie.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only way. Now, what value do you have to go in there and put I'm going to say I went on these 10 so their numbers look better. You're an idiot. You got mental illness. You need to go get some help because we don't need that type of help. Right? right? But that's the gist of it. So I'm glad that you felt that, because every day after these calls, I hop on with different members from our team that were on the call, and I ask, hey, was I wrong? Was I in the wrong direction? Did I not cover a certain point? What do I need to go into? What did I miss? Right? Here's what I'm trying to get to by the end of the week. Is this lining up to get there? Right? So it's intentional. This ain't by mistake. Right? Because I know what you all need after this summit. When you got a product, the first, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm going to show you this. When you start a business, no matter what the product is, when you first start off, they're buying you. They're not buying your whatever thing you got, fidget spinner or whatever. They buying Kevin. All right, is he trustworthy? Does he look trustworthy? Did he look me in the eye when he was talking to me? Did he speak with confidence? Did he carry himself the right way? Is he somebody I would follow? Is he worth $10? See you later, Jasmine. Is he worth the $10 I'm about to give him? So at the beginning, they're buying you. Does that make sense? When you get an employee that sells for you, they're buying your results, because that's what the employee is going to talk about. Well, if you use the speaker flywheel, Ron has helped people to do this. You know, Ron worked with these other folks. You should work with him because he's done all these things. So now my employee is now selling me and my results. Do you see what I mean? So they're no longer buying me the first stage. The next stage, they're buying my results. After that, they're buying my intellectual property. Is this helpful? They don't teach this in business school. This is what I know from selling. At the beginning, I got to come in looking the right way. I got to have on my shirt. If I'm a financial advisor and I come in with this on, I had better already be managing $100 million. But if it's a new client and they ain't never heard of me before, I got to come in with what they believe a financial advisor should look like. I got to fit the mold that they already had in their head. Unless I got some outstanding results where they're like, I don't care what he come in here with. If he can fix it, he can fix it. Does this make sense? So at the beginning, they're buying you. The second stage is when you get an employee that sells your stuff, they're buying your results. An employee can be a website. On the website, they don't get to see you. They get to see your results, your testimonials, what other people are saying about you. Does that make sense? And the third thing they buy is the system. How many of y'all know who Ray Kroc is? Right? Do we even care about Ray Kroc when we go buy a hamburger now? Nope. If y'all got Jimmy John's, do y'all even care who Jimmy John is? Nope. All you care about is the sandwich. Why? But at the beginning, they would say, man, I'm gonna get one of Jimmy John's sandwiches. I'm gonna try one of Ray's hamburgers. Let me see what they talk about. Because that's what they say. When you first, see you later, Willie. When you first open up your store, they say, hey, we're gonna go over to Jadika's office. They don't even know that it's called something else. Right? They say, oh, I work with Kevin Hempstead. They don't know Kevin Hempstead's company is called something else. Because they buying Kevin. Right? Yo, you heard of Kevin? Yeah, I heard of Kevin. Oh, yeah, he cool. Yeah, but dude, did you know he did this? What? Cool. Because if they don't care about Kevin, maybe they care about the results. You see that? That's how it works. So they're buying you first, then they're buying the results, and then they buy the process. Here's why this is so important. Let me just sum it up. At the beginning, when you got a product, you ain't got no results. So
you're saying they would buy me, then the product, then the results, or me, then the results, then the product?
They buy you, then the results, and then the product.
Oh, okay. I had it wrong. Okay.
Does that make sense? When you don't have any results, what results can they buy into?
Okay.
So they're just trusting you and whatever you're saying. once you start getting people results. See, here, let me show y'all something. Let me show y'all something. Let me give y'all something. Go back to June of last year. Whoever was around in June of last year, Jadika was around. When we did the first introduction to SpeakerHub Pro, the software wasn't live, right? But we sold lifetime accounts at a huge discount. I'm talking about like never be that cheap ever again discount, right? Like they got the deal of a lifetime. They've already made their money back if they've used the system, right? Why? Because we needed to get people in. We already had results from PitchDB and PR pitches, but it wasn't under the SpeakerHub brand. So people would say, yeah, that was with PR pitches at PitchDB. That wasn't with SpeakerHub Pro, though. It's the same thing. No, it ain't. Cool. Let me just go. I hear you. I'm listening to my customers. They want to hear results from SpeakerHub before they buy it. So we're going to give a bunch of great deals for those who want it. If you come in, I got you. I'm going to take care of you like you've never been taken care of before. They came in, I push them. Send these pitches. I need you to send. Say, Ron was like, okay. They say, Ron, pitch. Right? Jadika, pitch. We started getting people on podcasts. Now we got our own testimonials. So now when we opened it up in October, we opened it up with testimonials and results from SpeakerHub Pro. But at the beginning, Jadika was just buying what he said. He owns the company. And in the past, he had done these things and he showed me the results from his other company. And it looked like it worked. And when he got on the call with me, he showed me it worked just like he said in the video. And I saw the email go out. I mean, that's really what happened. I met with hundreds of people to get a few of them just to believe in me. They didn't, look, I don't care what she tell you. She didn't buy SpeakerHub Pro. She bought Ron. She bought the promises I made that I was going to help her. And if it didn't work, I would give her her money back. And if she ever had a call, she could text me. She got a problem, she could do whatever. I got you. That was my promise. Why? Because they couldn't even use the software at first. They couldn't even get in. I sold me. And then I gave them the product when it was ready. And then I helped them. They got results. And then now people buy based on the results. Does this make sense, guys? Now, I know some of y'all may have heard this before, whatever, but Marisol, this is the origin story of SpeakerHub. But we teach our folks, how do you build a business using your voice? But a lot of us, when we talk, we create doubt in people's minds. So one of the sayings at SpeakerHub is we never want to be unbelievable. Man, that's unbelievable. No, it ain't. We're going to tell you stuff that's believable. We ain't never trying to be unbelievable. Man, that's incredible. We want to be credible. I don't want to be incredible. I want to be credible first. I don't want to be unbelievable. I want to be believable. Does that make sense, Janika, why we're doing it that way? Because if I could get you all to understand that you're selling you first, and you can be proud of who you are and the work that you've done, right? And the accomplishments that you have, when you take it in front of people, the people that are ahead of you, they weren't gonna follow you anyway. So why even appear as a liar to them? You're looking for the people that you're ahead of to follow you. And you'll catch up with them down the road. Right? Your idols will become your rivals. When I look at that list, those are all the guys I looked up to for the last 6 years. I watch all their stuff. I follow all their stuff. We're just rivals now. Making sense?
Ron,
cool.
I'll
Any
share
other
a little
questions?
secret with you.
Oh, go ahead.
Before I met you and came aboard with you, I attended a health and wellness workshop presentation. It was done by an outstanding brother. I don't know what this is about St. Louis, but he was from St. Louis and he has built an astronomical health and wellness business. and he's still in St. Louis now, but he came to the Washington, D.C. area and had all these people in attendance, and they were young people. And that's what impressed me.
Was it Edgar?
No, his name is Yaki.
Okay.
He has The Awakening.
Okay.
And he's from St. Louis. I said, now what's this connection I got with all these people from St. Louis and this marketing and promotion that's on my path right now? So you all know something that we don't know.
I don't know. We might. I think I found him. Is this guy right here? I don't know him, but I know a few guys. There's a lot of, is this the person, Janika?
That is him. And
yeah,
he pushes
St. Louis.
Yes,
he was
and he
St.
pushes,
Louis, a
and he
hustler.
pushes St. Louis.
That's it. There's another guy. I don't know if you know this guy. Right. And this guy here, I'll introduce you, Janika. He's an herbalist also. He loves Dr. Sebi. He's a childhood friend of mine. We grew up down the street from each other, but he's a comedian by trade. That's how he pays the bills. So he's been on the stage with everybody. I'm talking about like stand-up comedian, been out with all the greats. But underneath, he's a herbalist. And he's been to Honduras and he goes by the name of Willie Lynch Jr., but his real name is Anthony. I know him as Anthony. But he runs Osane Botanicals. And he does a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, I'll make an introduction to you outside of here.
I would love to meet him because we have something in common.
Oh yeah. No, this is like, he's like a little brother. He's family to me, right? Like,
okay, yeah, I'd love to meet. I'd love to meet him, and I can share with him some stories about Savvy.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. We got whoopings from the same grandmama. So I know that's how much I know him. You know how much your mama got to trust somebody, let them whoop you. Yeah, his grandmama whooped both of us. So here's my son. What's up? Yo. Okay. You cámaras, okay. Saludos. Say hi.
Hola.
Okay. In English.
Hello.
Okay, there we go. All right. All right. He had to bring me back my change. I thought he was telling me a story. He's like, I want to buy my mama a Mother's Day gift. I'm like, from school? He was like, yeah, I promise you, it's from school. I said, dude, if you don't bring me my money back, we're going to have a problem. Because he asked for a lot. And I'm like, no way this cost that much. But he brought it back, so we cool. But was this helpful, guys?
Yes,
Marisol, you're always welcome to come back. I know your industry very well. I spent 20 years in that industry. Yes, we live in Colombia. We live in Medellin, Colombia. Yep. Bonnie, was this helpful? You can unmute, Bonnie. Anybody?
Always and every time. Always and every time.
Oh yeah, man.
Very helpful. You seem to work on our mindset a lot more lately, and I appreciate that because we need that.
Yeah, I mean, because we already know what to do. Like the process ain't that hard. It's doing it when it don't feel good.
Right, having the discipline.
100%.
Another issue, and it's not really an issue. When I was saying I ran out of pitches, and that was just on SpeakerHub. Then you told me to go to PitchDB, and there's a boatload of pitches there. That's where all my pitches went. Do I always have to go back to PitchDB, or will they ever transfer?
So I didn't know you had a SpeakerHub account. Your account was always on PitchDB.
Right. And lately, like within the last couple months or two, I went to a SpeakerHub. I've been trying to go to SpeakerHub.
I can get them switched over because your original thing was in PitchDB. I didn't think we transferred you over. You must have created a separate account in SpeakerHub.
I think I did. I was trying to transfer everything over to SpeakerHub.
No, you can't do that. It doesn't work, but we'll get it figured out for you. I'll have the dev team figure out a way to merge those.
Okay, that'd be great. But if not, I'll keep going to Pitch DB. But I'm committed now. I'm gonna be consistent with it. So
Yeah, I
if
mean,
you can, that'd be
are
good.
you using the PitchDB account? If not, we can close that one down and move. Just give you everything over in the
I had
SpeakerHub.
started using the SpeakerHub account a lot
Okay.
more, but then
So
once I
let's
ran out
use
of
SpeakerHub.
pitches on.
I'll transfer the pitches over. No problem.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Yep, I got you. I'll get you taken care of. Did you got my text messages, right? About
Yes.
why you saw the large jump?
Yeah.
I sent the text. Read the text.
Okay, I'll read it.
Yep.
Okay, but thank you. I'm gonna I'm already getting booked from being a little more consistent.
Cool, man. That's all that matters. You know, what did you say, Saran? Let's see. Can you read that for me, Ange? I can't find it.
Yep. She says, Robert Greene says, success all is psychology. Success is
all
psychology.
Yep. I agree.
Jadika said, thank you. Very powerful message. And what I needed today. Have a wonderful weekend.
All right. Well, we out, man. That's it. That's the call to action. Have a wonderful weekend. All right. See y'all later.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.